So today I wanted to talk about November being Sci Fi Month among a group of bloggers who are all going to participate together to do more science fiction during that month. And I have signed on and am looking to decide what I'm going to do because October 25th is my last day to have all my posts ready to go and know when they're going to be scheduled. So all that stuff has to go in advance, and then the posts will then post in November, so they'll be pre-scheduled, but they all have to be on the schedule so that the person running this group fun is able to tell everyone what to expect. So I'm trying to make a decision first and foremost about what reviews I want to do, and then about what posts I want to do. So I was hoping maybe you guys could help me work on that, because I have a whole pile of science fiction books that I've pulled off my shelf that I'm thinking about reading, but I know I can't do them all, so I'm thinking 4 to 5 of them at the most, and you know, if I get some extra ones in before October 25th, that's great, but if not, oh well. So a lot of this stuff will be going on my main blog, but pretty sure that I'm going to be talking about it also in the YouTube video stuff. So either way, you get to see it, or you can go to the blog and see it, but ultimately I'm going to be doing November sci-fi. So this is really interesting though, because I had planned to read horror all through October because of Halloween, but now I'm having to switch it and make October my sci-fi reads instead because of having to pre-plan everything. So I guess I'll be reading horror in November. So okay, let me show you what books I'm thinking, and then maybe if there are particular ones that you're interested in, then that will help me make decisions about which ones to read. I've already got a couple there at the top of my list. Obviously this is actually coincidental and useful, since I was already going to be reading The Left Hand of Darkness with Estelle, so this one will definitely go into my November posts. So here are some of the others, and I'll try to give you a really quick summary about them so you can tell me if they sound interesting and if that sounds like something you'd want to know more about in the near future. So the first one I have here is Terminal World by Alastair Reynolds, and I've got a couple of Alastair Reynolds here, but we're going to look at this one first. This is the one I purchased back in July and August, or I think it was August, yes. And this is the one about someone who used to be an enforcement agent who is now working as a pathologist in a morgue, and he's incognito on the last human city in the universe apparently, and an angel, or a near-dead angel, who is apparently a post-human creature of some kind, ends up on his dissection table, and I don't know, it sounds cool. I'm interested, but I'm also interested in these other two as well. So let's see about these. So this one is Pushing Ice. This one is about Bella Lind, who mines comets. She's the captain of a mining ship, so I guess they're mining ice of some kind. So one of Saturn's ice moons falls out of its orbit and starts heading toward the solar system, and Bella is ordered to shadow it and see what's going on. So she, of course, is putting herself and her crew in danger by doing this, because what other kind of story would we have if we didn't have that? So that's what this one is. Moon is heading toward Earth, presumably, and mining ship is shadowing it because nobody knows what's going on. So this third one that I have from Alastair Reynolds is called The Prefect. This is about Tom Dreyfus, who is a prefect, which is a law enforcement officer working with the Panoply, which is presumably some kind of government group. So he patrols the Glitter Band, which is a bunch of space habitats orbiting the planet Yellowstone. And this sounds like it's part of his larger Revelation space universe, because I'm pretty sure the Glitter Band and Yellowstone are part of that, but we'll have to see because I can't remember very well. His case, investigating a murderous attack against one of the inhabitants that left over 900 people dead. But then it turns out that mass slaughter is the least of his problems. So this one, law enforcement, this one about a mining ship, or this one about a former enforcement agent turned pathologist living in disguise. So those are my 3 Alastair Reynolds. Let me know which one sounds more interesting to you guys. I can't make up my mind, and these aren't the only ones of his that I have. These just happen to be the ones that strike me right now. The next one on our list is Isaac Asimov's Foundation. This is a pretty famous one, sort of a classic. I have read Prelude to Foundation, so presumably this follows that one. I would expect this to be really good because I liked the first one very much. And I think, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it. Sometimes these older books I can't remember. But I think this one was written before Prelude to Foundation, and then they were sort of, you know, made chronological for the reader because he wrote a bunch out of order, I think. So Foundation, how about that one? Yes? No? So next we have Alpha Centauri. Apparently there are over 200 billion people on Earth, and by the end of the century the human race will be gone because it's way too many people and Earth can no longer hold up. So they're going to have a colonizing mission to Alpha Centauri, but a terrorist group somehow infiltrates the ship and plants the seed of failure and extinction in every human being. What did I just say? Extinction. I'm sorry. I don't know how to vocalize or enunciate, apparently. So yes, and as all that's happening, there's a mysterious relic of a previously doomed race that awaits them at the end of their journey. Ooh, I have a sneaking suspicion that there's going to be something weird about time and that relic will end up being the human's relic, and that better not be what it is. No. Next we have Red Mars by Kim Stanley Robinson. This one I have had for so long. I'm pretty sure I've had this since middle school or high school. I need to read faster. So in Red Mars, they are trying to give Mars an Earth-like atmosphere, presumably for the purpose of colonization, because why else would you bother? So they're doing all this stuff, and while working on that, it's pretty epic, and then all this crazy stuff happens between friends and rivals and lovers, and I don't know what that means really, but apparently it's good. I'm pretty sure this is a really well-known one. I remember reading recently that this was somebody's favorite, this trilogy. It's Red Mars, Blue Mars, Green Mars, I think. Or maybe Red, Green, Blue. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so this is another pretty, Red, Green, Blue. So, I know this is a reasonably well-known one. Okay, so next we have Souls in the Great Machine, which is also part of a trilogy, and I only just learned that 5 minutes ago when I looked at the cover inside. I got this book. I bought this book at Borders in animation school, so back in like 2003 or so, while I was on a date, except I didn't mean for it to be a date. It was one of those accidental dates. So yeah, that's where I got this. But this one sounds really interesting. 2 millennia from now, there's no more electricity. Wind engines are leading edge technology. Librarians fight duels to settle disputes. Steam power is banned by every major religion. And a mysterious siren colors people to their watery graves. Nevertheless, a brilliant but ruthless leader intends to start an improbable war against ancient nuclear battle stations orbiting the Earth. But of course that battle isn't the main disaster waiting to happen, because there's apparently an evil, obscene enemy coming back to Earth to probably destroy everything. So then we have Christine Smith's Code of Conduct. This one has to do with a woman who was part of the diplomatic corps, and she got really messed up in this battle, and so they put her body back together, so she's mostly probably cybernetic at this point, except that her body's coming apart, and she has stuff to do, so she doesn't have time for that, and yes. So, Midshipman's Hope by David Fintook? Oh, don't know. So the UNS Hibernia is stranded, and there are a whole bunch of colonists and young officers who are absolutely terrified and can't get anywhere. So Nicholas Seaford has to overcome all of his issues to save everyone, so that mutiny and an alien horror beyond human understanding doesn't destroy everything. So here we have The Last Talk by Catherine Nasario. We have the scion of an imperial family who has gone to an off-limits planet because that's what scions do. No, and he ends up in this place where there are a lot of very powerful, scary women who take him prisoner, and the most powerful woman on the planet falls in love with him. Wow, that sounds like not something I really want to read right now, but if you want me to read it, I will. So here we have The Difference Engine by William Gibson and Bruce Sterling. William Gibson is pretty well known for Neuromancer. I am sorry to say I don't know already who Bruce Sterling is. Apparently the author of Holy Fire, but I've never seen that book. So this one, I'm pretty sure this was one of the early ones that sort of set off the steampunk genre. So I think this one would be really interesting. It says part detective story, part historical thriller, and part science fiction, so sounds cool to know. I haven't read anything William Gibson since Neuromancer, so it might be interesting to try. Here we have Infoquake, Volume 1 of the Jump 225 trilogy by David Lewis Edelman. This one has to do with programming and bio stuff and corporations and technology and lots of that sort of thing, cities and so forth. So I remember being really into possibly reading this when I bought it, but I have a habit of buying things when I'm at my family's house over holiday, and that's never a good time to read anything. Next we have All You Need Is Kill by Hiroshi Sakurazaka. This one is actually really short. This is under 200 pages, so I'm thinking I might read this one regardless of whatever. So I actually don't know what it's about. I just know it's science fiction. There are aliens. Main character, I think, or somebody dies on the battlefield only to be reborn the next morning to fight again and again. Sounds interesting. Pretty short. I'm curious. Yeah, how about this one? I'll probably read it anyway, though, seriously. I mean, it's short, and so is the Ursula K. Le Guin, so I think those two are probably already on the list, so that gives me about 3 or 4 normal size science fiction to read, which usually about 500 pages. That's pretty average for sci-fi. So here we have Cyberabad Days by Ian MacDonald. This was one of the Pyre books that I got when I was trying to read through all the Pyre books and just didn't get to because I'm just not fast enough. I don't read as fast as publishers put stuff out, unfortunately. I gotta work on that. But this one is about India in 2047. It's a new superpower, and there are artificial intelligences, climate change-induced droughts, water wars, strange new genders, genetically improved children who age at half the rate of baseline humanity, and so on and so forth. This is a collection of 7 stories and a novella, so I didn't realize it was a collection, but either way, a collection of stuff that's all sort of connected, I think, so I would be happy to read this one as well, or not, if you don't think you care to hear about it just yet. And finally, we have Finity by John Barnes. I read the description of this one for I'm pretty sure the first time ever. I used to buy things without even looking at what they were. So this person and a bunch of other people are doing things and then not remembering what it was they did, and apparently people are all coming from different places, but they can't remember ever having been anywhere in particular in the United States, and then something about Soviet Russia, and everyone's very confused, and it sounds like there's something trying to kill them as well, and that is a terrible summary. This is the worst. But anyway, Finity by John Barnes. So anyway, if my summaries weren't good enough, and I know for some that they were not, take a look maybe on Amazon or Goodreads if you want to maybe figure out what they're really about, since I fail at summarizing books I haven't read. So yes, because I really want your opinions, because I just can't make a decision, and this will come down ultimately to me flipping coins, and I don't want to do it that way because I cheat. I flip a coin, I'm like, oh, I don't think so, I'll flip it again. So I'm not reliable choosing my own books for this process. So let me know what you think. I'm definitely doing Ursula K. Le Guin's Left Hand of Darkness, and probably All You Need Is Kill because it's really short, so why wouldn't I read that already? Okay, so I mean, as far as other posts, is there anything science fiction related you'd like me to talk about or do? Because all I can think of is, you know, my top this or that. But I'm not sure what this or that yet, so I mean my top books from here, my top books from there, or my top films, or my top, I don't know. So there are just a lot of things that I could potentially do, and I just can't make a decision about what exactly. So let me know if there's something you'd like to hear about. I'm probably also going to do a mid-November giveaway for a sci-fi book. I haven't decided which one, or if I'm going to let the winner pick yet, so we'll see about that also. And if any of you know about any upcoming science fiction books that I maybe haven't heard about, because for whatever reason most of the books I hear about are all fantasy. Maybe I'm just not tapped into the right blogs on my reader, So if there are any new sci-fi books coming out that you're interested in or curious about that I could potentially make a list for to read this season, let me know. I'm curious, and I do feel like I am missing a lot of science fiction in my life. I have loads of fantasy books and yet less of the science fiction, which is just wrong. Okay, thanks guys, and I hope to hear what you're interested in hearing about, because like I said, I'm going to be writing about it on the blog, but I'll also be making videos for you, so you can look at both or just the one. It's totally up to you guys. So now I'm going to go try to work up some energy to do my Caliandro's final verdict video, because I know everybody's waiting for that. Bye guys.